scene.
Everybody shut the fuck up!
I told your little dumbass we was gonna show up.
You didn't have to say all that extra shit.
Alright, everyone, do the thing.
Let's get it!
Alright, well thank you, Kurosai, for this fantastic opening. I already know that I'm going to add the opening to this Idol chapter.
Excellent.
In fact, I was listening to it as I was reading the chapter to get in the full Idol spirit.
Nice. So this is chapter 13 of Monster Girl Village, whatever we call it. We haven't figured out the code.
The ongoing Monster Girl series where we take the camera behind the scenes of the Monster Girls.
We did that last time.
And, well, we take them up skirts. We upskirt the Monster Girls.
That's a good idea. And there's a lot of skirts in this episode, too.
If we were smart, we would learn Blender or SFM and make all of the chapters just 3D animations.
Yeah, if we were smart and had, like, the manpower of, like, a whole Korean sweatshop.
An actual animation studio.
That's what I said, yeah.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Let's get into this chapter. So...
Here they are.
Yep, they're doing the chapter stuff. Most of my stuff is very backloaded, actually.
They're doing that thing again where it shows the cover of the thing like 4 pages in.
Yeah, technically page 2, but yeah.
So my thing was like, I was like, is this a plant girl? No, it's just her gloves, but it looks like leaves or something.
I don't look at pictures, so I never noticed that.
See,
we're the opposite.
Yeah, I exclusively look at the pictures.
I never saw that at all. The only time I really look at pictures is when there's text over them and I have to clean and redraw them.
This music note is upside down.
Wow, you're right. I see. Dude, I'm telling you, I never even looked at any of this. That's so weird.
So before we get a comment that's like, no, there are upside down music notes, it's like, yes, I know, but it was...
Well, it's not traditional.
They got little top hats.
Oh, only
Shia
does. Oh, okay, yeah, they do have those little hats. Sometimes they're...
Good one. Good girl.
Sometimes you'll see, like, them holding their hat kind of, like, half off panel, and it looks like a speech bubble.
Like this?
Definitely on the
like
next
this.
page, I think. Well, yeah, like that one, but it's gray right now. See right there, it kind of almost looks like a speech bubble.
Maybe.
Not so much, but like when I was doing my like proofreading, double check stuff, I had to do a double take on that.
So I think by law, all Japanese anime girls have to have these headsets. These are the cat ear headsets.
Oh yeah.
I know PewDiePie had a couple pairs, and I've actually seen them in the wild, in real life. I've seen people walking down the street wearing them, and I'm just like, wow. It's like I wish I was as confident as you. Like,
yeah, or like I guess confident is a word, but it's also kind of like just so detached from reality.
Yeah, you're in your complete own little world when you're wearing them.
Yeah. Well, these are I don't know if you actually read it or not, but these have like utility because she falls asleep if she listens to music. So these kind of block out the music somehow, but she can hear voices. It's nice to have a character who can invent stuff that doesn't make any sense whenever the plot requires it.
Well, speaking of plot, if you haven't been following along, basically these 2 tiny towns are fighting over who gets to keep their sovereignty, their sovereign state, and so they're going to settle it by having an idol competition.
As you do, yeah. That's just normal Japan 101.
Japan politics, yeah.
Solving.
That's like dispute resolution. It's into the charter of the towns.
Mm-hmm.
We got more top hats or pillbox hats. I like the background.
Yeah, the outfit's kind of neat. You notice that they all have wings just because one of them actually does have wings, so they all kind of had to have them on their outfits. I thought that was a nice little touch.
They never came up with a group name.
Oh yeah, so there's that part. Yeah, I think the name that they come up with is actually it's a good little, not quite a laugh, but it's a humorous situation. I think how they just say like the public outreach committee.
It's like if Parks and Recreation had one. We're the Parks and Recreation. Hey, but they wrote a show after it, so I guess it's meta enough to make a show. So it's meta enough to make a group name.
True.
Nincompoop. What's the actual word there? Why? I've never seen anybody ever use that word. So
he's an old man. That's what old men say. I think this one was actually like
whippersnapper would have been.
This one actually, he didn't call her like stupid or anything like that. He was saying something like "Hey you" or something to that effect. Yeah, he said the gamer word, so I had to censor it for Western audiences. That's a slightly flavored text translation.
See, that's the type of artistic flourish. It's like what is it, a sprezza or something? Where
I have no idea.
It's like a German word for someone or a patina. Like you've got just a little bit of. You have a little bit of experience and it adds flavor and color to your work.
Interesting, yeah. I mean, I probably mentioned this before, but as I do more and more translation, I throw in a lot more, like...
Take more liberties,
exactly. And I throw in more, like, unique language. I still do a lot of, like, generic, straight translations, and it does show sometimes.
Every time I see "you're a mess," Jeb's a mess.
yeah, I thought of that, too. I say it every day, and it's so true. Jeb is a mess. A big, fat mess.
Gramps Ojo-san?
You got it, dude.
Did I?
Ojo-san is like what they call no, that's what they call like the rich girls.
Oh, what's Grandpa? What's Gramps? Hey Gramps.
It's probably like,
smell you later.
It's probably like Gigi. I don't know what she calls him. My mind just auto translates it to Gramps.
It's like none of this is even translated. It's just like your own like psycho babble.
It is, yeah. So this scene actually was really hard for me to figure out what was going on because I don't look at the pictures. So on the previous page, it shows her with one of her friends is holding up like a camera and a computer, and I totally missed those. So I was like, how are they like magically seeing this? Is there a crystal ball, Genju or something? That's kind of what my mind went to.
That's right.
So yeah, and then they're actually performing and they're doing a really poor job, and I think that's kind of funny because normally like in anime or manga they like, oh, they knocked it out of the park, they're the best, but here they're like falling down and they're garbage.
I mean, I've never watched any idol shows, but like they're doing the exact same moves from Love Live.
From all of them.
Yeah, because they're all the same.
Yeah.
I really don't know too much about. We even did the whole episode on idol girls. Mm-hmm. I still have no idea anything about them.
Well, what don't you know? I'm pretty sure you know everything without actually knowing that you know it.
I mean, I guess I've just never watched one is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, there's not much to it. It's a very shallow genre.
Like I said, the only time I've ever liked idol stuff is from Kurosai's video. Which
I think that was Love Live, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. As he did a pun on the actual song.
So it's weird to me how the audience ended up like, oh yeah, you got it. Like obviously as you're reading it at the end, you know why, that they were brainwashed basically, but at the time you're like, come on, are they just like pitying them? It's like,
yeah,
you're
cute
not,
girls.
You're not complete garbage. I know you fell on your face, but you can get up.
They're white knighting. Like,
yeah. Yeah, and then this is the page where she's like, yeah, we cheated. And this actually was previously established, I think, like multiple chapters ago.
They did. I remember reading
siren
this.
Can like brainwash, basically.
This was a long con. They do it like so that was pretty sweet. I mean, it would be way better if the girl leader had planned it, like specifically do that. Yeah, of course, we could challenge you to a idol contest because we have a secret monster girl.
Well, she didn't necessarily have that in mind, but she is the one who kind of worked with Hisui, the siren, to concoct that plan. So it's almost like what you said.
Yeah. It's like, oh, yeah, we just used what we had at disposal.
Yeah.
That was in the rules.
There wasn't a rule against it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
What do you mean there's not a rule against, like, shooting the crowd or something? Like, this is an interesting thing. Is it all pheromones? Like...
So I was a little bit confused about that, too. So she's talking about how... Kuro are talking, or Roe. One of the dog girls is talking, and she's saying like, "Oh yeah, I could smell like a non-human smell coming from the Maple Maids." Later in the next panel, it does reveal why that smell is from them specifically. So not all Genju emit a smell necessarily, but these guys are Gandharvas. I don't know how to say it. It's like some kind of Indian thing. I don't even know where this author like comes up with these weird creatures.
He's like just goes to like a Monster Girl randomizer.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Like,
actually,
what are monsters? Like
Yeah.
he goes to the Wikipedia page and like lists out like
Well,
what's esoteric.
I've had to do this for a few monster names in this series, where I go to the Japanese Wikipedia page and then I click on the English to see what the heck it even is.
There you go.
Because nobody's heard of Gandharva, unless you're Indian. But I guess they sing a lot and they have a smell, a good smell.
A smelly smell.
Yeah.
Like kind of smells smelly.
And then you get kind of this sappy conciliatory. It's like, oh, we're the old generation. We need to let the new kids, the new blood, try their own stuff.
It's over. Us 30-year-old boomers are dead.
Long live Zoomers. Yep, they're taking over now. And then they did the classic, the dumb trope where it's like, no, Billy, I wasn't holding onto your tricycle when you were riding.
It was your power all the time.
Yeah. They subvert it a little bit because it's like, well, no, because the front seats of the audience, they were being mind controlled.
All right.
And then this is a special thanks. The font's so tiny. I hate this.
You should have just made it bigger. You can take liberties like that.
I know, I should have, but honestly, I was too lazy by the time I noticed it. I was just ready to get this shipped, and I was like, whatever, people can zoom in, because the next page is just...
Yeah, we can't...
The scans that I have are just so impossibly small on it, and it's such an information-dense page. Like, I spent more time on it than, like, maybe the whole rest of the thing, and I hated that.
You know, and you'll hate this even more, but nobody reads these.
I know.
Nobody.
I know.
Only super diehard fans, and it's
there's
like,
no such thing.
4 of them. But
they might read
read
the
this.
ages.
I liked this. Yeah, 13-ish. Okay.
Well, okay.
Wow.
So with the Genju, it's just what they look like. It's not what they actually are, because we all know
10,000-year-old demons.
Because we've seen them interacting with the grandma characters when they were kids. So and they look the same.
That's not what a 13-year-old American looks like.
Well,
it's like all the anime girls are like.
Yeah, I don't even know what a 13-year-old looks like anymore. I don't think I've seen one since I was 13. But yeah, I like this page a lot. I appreciate it. This is actually like the inside cover when you take off the sleeve of the volume. And well, outside cover, I mean, not inside. And I like how this one answers the question of why she always has her midriff exposed.
Right.
And there's some weird logic to it. Like, she figures, like, if I'm always having it exposed, then I can't allow myself to eat too many sweets and get fat.
There you go.
That's like
that's the new diet craze.
Yeah, it's like, it's not like weight loss, but it's like weight gain prevention.
All right, so is this an Alex Jones quote?
Oh wait, hold on. Let's back up a bit. And another thing that I thought was really neat. Nobody read this, but if you read it at the end of Shia's description, there's like a sentence or two about like her design, like how it came to be. The font might be like unreadably tiny, but the gist of it was like, the idea was for her to have like an alien feel, like to be like an alien. There's like a chain of thought from like, she's alien, and then it's foreigner. And then I said weeaboo to cut down on space, but to be more like politically correct, it was like foreigner who appreciates Japanese culture. I just felt like I needed to mention that somehow.
That's fine.
Because weeaboo does have a really nasty like tinge to it. But yeah, I thought that was funny. Maybe one person will read it.
Us.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so back to my other question. Okay. Is this an Alex Jones quote?
Yeah, it's roughly adapted. So this is about Michelle Obama. What he was
Michael
saying,
Obama.
Well, that's the conspiracy, yeah. So I had to take a couple liberties here and there. It couldn't quite fit, but I like the idea for yelling into the crowd her conspiracy theories.
Yeah, it's funny when you think of it like that.
And then I got a little too woke because I have Itsuki in the background saying, "No, Akane, no, that's how they killed Joan Rivers."
Yeah, because they did.
That's the conspiracy, yeah. And then this was like a diagonal thing on the left side of the panel, so I threw in another panel of the mayor being angry, and they're like, "Oh, they know too much, shut it down."
Shut it down.
You know, the classic. But yeah, that I kind of like and I don't like that end page. I felt like I could have done it better, but whatever. It's pretty decent.
Well, it's time to shut this weekly segment down.
Whoa, we've told them too much. They know too much. Shut it down. That's full circle from 5 seconds ago. We did it. That's a callback.
It's a throwback. This is what we look like.
I'm a throwback. I'm a pioneer. I don't know if I've done that one yet.
This is animated. It's animated.
Yeah. I definitely need to do that quote if I haven't yet.
That'll be when it's announced for the anime.
Yeah.
This is what we look like. I'm animated. My heart's big. I've got hot blood
Local
going through it
weeaboo gives it passionate speech.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And that's it. So, did we come up with a way to close this?
I said shut it down. That's how we close it.
Okay.
I don't know,
We
yeah.
close it then. All right.
Go read the manga. Go read the chapter.